you've worked long enough in pottery, you know the struggle's real with this tool right here. These things are one of the most frustrating tools in pottery. They fray, they kink, they're even hard to get out of the package. They're about as worthless as the package they come in. They are just a terrible tool, this wire tool. They wear out quick, they get kinked, students have a hard time with them. I don't even know why we put up with them. I'm gonna show you a really great way to save some money and a lot of frustration and time and make your own wire tools for pennies compared to what those things cost and with half the frustration. We're gonna do that with braided fishing line. Braided fishing line is different than regular monofilament fishing line. It doesn't stretch at all, and it's really thin compared to monofilament fishing line for the strength of it. This right here is 50 pound braided fishing line right here, and it's very thin. Braided fishing line is used when you're fishing around sharp things like barnacles or oyster beds or things that are sharp in the water. And it has very strong abrasion resistance. And it's really great to make wire tools out of. In addition to being really frustrating because of the breakage, and these things are sharp, they can cut you. And in addition to all the downsides, sometimes when you're working with porcelain, like I do in my personal work, when you use this wire tool, since it's so thick, it causes some friction with the clay, and it can actually cause minor cracking in the bottom of porcelain pieces when you cut it off. Because the braided fishing line is so thin, it has less friction when you cut off a piece of pottery from the potter's wheel, that it doesn't cause any cracking, and it can really cut down on your cracking if you're using porcelain. So that's another benefit of this braided fishing line. You can use monofilament, it does work, but it doesn't work as good as the braid. I got this here at the discount sports store. It was on sale for about $5, and it says right here it is 114 meters. That means that you can make probably close to 250 wire tools with this for $5. Now there's many things that you can attach the braided fishing line to. I'm going to be using these. This is from a downed tree from Hurricane Matthew. This is live oak wood that I've milled down to these nice wood toggles. You don't have to get fancy like that. I just like doing fancy things like this, and I like the connection to nature, and I like the connection to my city and to the storm. I like the connection to all that. You don't have to do that. You can do something really simple as just buying a wood dowel from the store and drilling a hole in it. You don't have to make it fancy, but I'm choosing to. In addition to that, for my classes, I got this is cedar from the garden center, and I'm gonna cut this up for my classes. Cedar is rot resistant. The nice thing about using wood tools is it's gonna float in the bucket. And we here at my school, we use a pug mill, and I do at home, we use a pug mill. And pug mills are kind of expensive tools, and it'd be really easy to make a wire tool toggle or the ends of the wire tool out of a washer, or you could have students make them out of clay, roll up some clay, poke a hole in it, and they could have ownership to that. But the problem with those, if that gets in the pug mill, materials metal, like a metal washer were to get it in the pug mill, or if the bisque clay ends were to get in the pug mill, it could really do some damage to the pug mill. A piece of wood like this is going to be harder to lose in the pug mill because it's big, and if it does get in there, because it's somewhat soft, it's not going to cause the damage that a piece of bisqueware would or a piece of metal would. So that's why I'm choosing this. Again, you could use something very simple, such as a dowel that you drill a hole in, or a washer. You don't need to do anything if you were to get a metal washer. However, again, for those reasons of I don't want to get stuck in the pug mill, I'm not going to use it. So essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this countersink bit. Again, you don't need a countersink bit. You can use any drill bit to drill a hole in the wood. Again, I just like doing it that step above, make it really nice. So this is a countersink bit, and essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a hole in this, tie it on, about 1.5 feet or about 1 foot of the braided fishing line, and that's our wire tool. And we just saved a ton of money. We have a better tool and no frustration and no worries. And we can throw this thing out the window. I'm going to use something called a uni knot. A uni knot is a very strong, and in my opinion, easy to tie knot. Do you need to tie a uni knot? Can you tie just about any knot to make a wire tool like this? Yes, that's the beauty of this project. You can do it pretty much however you want, and you're going to get those benefits. I like to fish. I like to tie uni knots. I think they're beautiful. I don't think they're that hard to do, and they're very strong and they last a long time. So I'm going to go ahead and tie a uni knot. To make your uni knot, you're going to run the line right through the hole. You're going to take a little bit of this slack end and you're going to bring it back and make a loop. You're going to bring a little bit of this back and make a loop. Put your thumb right where the loop meets and put your finger in here. You're going to wrap this around 5 to 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pull this tight, slide the line down, and you're going to have a very secure knot. This will last several months in a high school classroom, having daily use constant. It'll last several months before it starts to fray or the knot begins to break, or if you have any problems. So you'll get several months of use out of this before you have to tie a new one. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm going to cut about a foot, 1.5 feet. Cut it, grab a toggle, put the line through, make my small loop, one, 2, 3, 4, 5, pull it tight, slide it. You have one of the best wire tools you will ever need for you or for your classroom. A really great tool, super easy to make, cost almost nothing. Wood was free in my yard. The line, $5 for 114 meters. An easy upgrade to this system, even though it's pretty awesome already, is to take the line and either braid it or twist it. This is going to give you a really cool textured pattern on whatever you're cutting with the line. So I'm going to take the line and lock it down with the little clay on either side. And I got to be careful not to cut through the clay. So I'm going to lock that down. Again, being careful not to put any tension on it. And I'm holding it in the middle. I'm going to twist it. You can either twist it or braid it. And that pattern that it makes is pretty incredible. It gives a really unique signature to the bottom of your pots. If you want a really tight signature or a tight line, you can twist it really tight, or you can leave it looser. The twisted ends of the line are tied onto the wooden toggles, just the way we did the single end line. And when we cut with this, I think you're going to see the benefit of how cool this looks. So I'm just going to pull this through, and when we open it, you can see how the twisted wire or the twisted fishing line really makes a really great, interesting texture on your clay. So again, another benefit over this system versus the terrible steel ones from the tool company.